Across the polished floor, I see her. Maya. Her dress is stunning, probably cost more than my first year's tuition, but there's a tightness around her mouth, a frantic energy in her eyes as she scans the crowd. She spots me. Her shoulders straighten, a calculated smile replacing the panic. She starts moving my way, weaving through the clusters of alumni and donors. I turn, nodding politely to the dean who's just approached, pretending not to notice her advance. But then, a faint whiff of her perfume jasmine and something expensive cuts through the champagne-scented air. It hits me like a physical blow, a scent I haven't smelled in this timeline, anyway. Cafeteria fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The plastic tray feels slippery in my sweating hands. Maya stands there, flanked by Julian and Eliza, her expression glacial. "Honestly, Alex," she sighs, loud enough for the surrounding tables to hear, "it's exhausting. You're just not worth fighting for." Laughter ripples from her friends. My world shrinks to the greasy tabletop, the smear of ketchup I can't look away from. I blink, bringing the ballroom back into focus. The dean is still talking, something about endowments. Maya has paused halfway across the room, stopped by someone I vaguely recognize. Her eyes, however, are still locked on me, filled with a desperate plea. Right. Third time's the charm, isn't it? My phone buzzes silently in my pocket. I don't need to look. It'll be her. "Alex, please, can we just talk? I miss you. Don't ignore me." Later, I'll pull out my phone, glance at the string of messages, and delete them without reading. A small smile plays on my lips. Things are already so much different this time around. It all started back then, didn't it? My first real taste of Crestwood University wasn't the ivy-covered walls or the hallowed halls of learning. It was the stark, unspoken hierarchy that permeated every lecture hall, every quad gathering, every cramped dorm room. I was Alex Chen, the scholarship kid from the wrong side of the tracks, armed with good grades and a perpetually anxious knot in my stomach. And at the apex of this glittering, ruthless pyramid stood Maya Sterling. Maya wasn't just wealthy, she was legacy. Her family name adorned buildings, funded departments. She moved through campus with an effortless grace that belied a casual cruelty, surrounded always by her court. They weren't just friends. They were satellites, orbiting her influence, basking in her reflected glow. And the two closest, the ones whose betrayals would cut the deepest, were my supposed best friend and my own sister, Julian Vance. We'd bonded during orientation week over cheap ramen and shared anxieties about calculus. He was smart, ambitious, but lacked the Sterling pedigree. He saw Maya as a shortcut, a validation. I didn't see it at first, blinded by naive loyalty. I remember confiding in him about my struggles, the pressure of maintaining my scholarship, the imposter syndrome that dogged my steps. Weeks later, snippets of my anxieties, twisted and exaggerated, would surface in Maya's mocking comments. "Heard you're barely scraping by, Chen," she'd drawled one afternoon in the library, loud enough for nearby students to glance over. "Maybe you should focus less on complaining and more on studying." Julian was standing right beside her, looking intensely interested in a bookshelf. I confronted him later. "Did you tell her what I said?" He flushed, avoiding my eyes. "Alex, man, you know how she is. Sometimes things just slip out. She twists things, you know?" He tried to laugh it off, clapping me on the shoulder. "Don't worry about it. She doesn't mean anything by it." But I saw the calculation flicker in his eyes, the relief that he wasn't the target. He was trading my vulnerabilities for a seat closer to the throne. It was the first crack in the foundation. Then there was Eliza, my twin sister. We'd always been close, partners in crime against the world. But Crestwood changed her. She saw the opportunities Maya's circle represented, the internships, the connections, the easy path to the career she craved in corporate law. Maya offered her an in, a mentorship of sorts, contingent on Eliza aligning herself fully. That alignment meant distancing herself from the embarrassing, scholarship-dependent brother. I remember the phone call home, my mom asking why Eliza hadn't mentioned my winning the preliminary design award. Eliza, grabbing the phone, her voice smooth, "Oh, Alex, sorry, it completely slipped my mind. Things have been so hectic with the pre-Law Society gala Maya's helping me organize." Later, I overheard her talking to Maya by the student union. "He's just so intense about everything," Eliza was saying, a dismissive wave of her hand. "Always stressed about money, the scholarship. It's honestly a bit draining to be around." Maya laughed, a tinkling sound devoid of warmth. "You're better off focusing on your own future, Elle. Some people just drag you down." Eliza didn't defend me. She just nodded, her expression eager, grateful for the validation. Family bonds, severed for a foothold on the social ladder. And the final piece of the puzzle, Professor Harmon. Head of the Advanced Research Program, a man whose academic reputation was built on shaky foundations, propped up by generous donations from families like the Sterlings. I'd poured my heart and soul into a research project, developing a novel algorithm that had genuine breakthrough potential. Harmon had been my advisor, initially encouraging, showering praise. "Remarkable work, Chen," he'd said, peering over my shoulder at the code. "Truly innovative." Weeks later, at a department symposium, he presented my core findings as his own preliminary research. My name was nowhere to be seen. When I tried to protest, discreetly, after the presentation, he waved me away. "Alex, you misunderstand," he said, his tone patronizing. "Your work was a valuable starting point, excellent groundwork, but the theoretical leap, the real insight, that required a more seasoned perspective." He gestured vaguely towards the crowd. "Maintaining departmental funding, attracting donors like the Sterlings, it requires showcasing significant progress. Your contribution is noted internally, of course." He wasn't just stealing my work. He was using it to secure funding from the family of the girl who despised me, aided by the silence of my friend and sister who benefited from her favor. It was a closed loop of betrayal, perfectly engineered to keep me down. Flashback. Cycle 1. The weight of it all crushed me. The combined betrayals felt like a physical assault. I stopped going to classes, holed up in my cheap off-campus room. My grades plummeted. The scholarship was revoked. I dropped out, tail between my legs, the shame burning hotter than the anger. Maya and her crew probably celebrated. Harmon published my paper under his name. Julian got a plum internship through Maya's father. Eliza networked her way into a top-tier law firm's summer position. I ended up back home, working dead-end jobs, the potential snuffed out. Flashback. Cycle 2. This time, I tried to fight back. I confronted Julian publicly, yelled at Eliza, lodged a formal complaint against Harmon. It backfired spectacularly. Maya rallied her forces. Witnesses suddenly remembered me acting erratically. Julian played the victim. Eliza painted me as unstable, jealous of her success. Harmon produced carefully doctored notes suggesting I was merely an assistant on his project. The university administration, heavily influenced by Sterling donations, sided with them. I was ostracized, labeled a troublemaker, and eventually forced out under a cloud of suspicion. The end result was the same, just with more noise and fury signifying nothing. This time, Cycle 3, sitting in this glittering ballroom, feeling Maya's desperate gaze burning into my back, I know better. Direct confrontation is their game. Played on their turf, by their rules, anger and desperation were my undoing before. This time the strategy is different. Silence, observation, precision. They won't see me coming until it's far too late. The foundations of their comfortable world are already cracking. They just don't know I am the one holding the chisel. The annual Crestwood Benefactors Gala. Not the alumni reunion I'm currently attending years later, but the student-run version back then, Cycle 3. A night meant to charm donors, showcase student achievements, and solidify the university's social pecking order. I'm there, volunteering. The only way a scholarship kid like me gets through the door, refilling water glasses, trying to be invisible. Maya finds me near the hors d'oeuvres table. She doesn't lower her voice. "Alex Chen, fancy seeing you here. Still clinging onto that scholarship, are we?" Her friends titter. Julian shifts uncomfortably nearby. Eliza looks away. "I heard some interesting rumors," Maya continues, louder now, drawing attention. "Something about your application essays? Maybe not being entirely original?" Heads turn. Whispers start. It's a direct assault, aimed at the very foundation of my presence at Crestwood. She wants to paint me as a fraud, someone who doesn't belong, reinforcing the narrative that I'm beneath her notice, unworthy. In previous cycles, this would have either sent me fleeing in shame, Cycle 1, or exploding in righteous, ineffective anger, Cycle 2. This time, I just look at her. No denial, no defense. I let a flicker of hurt show in my eyes, just enough to be convincing. I murmur something about needing to check on the kitchens and walk away, head slightly bowed. I feel their eyes on my back, sense their collective sigh of relief. Good, I think. He's broken. Predictable. Julian catches my eye as I leave the main hall, a fleeting look of pity mixed with relief crossing his face. Eliza studiously avoids my gaze altogether. They think the threat is neutralized. They think I'll just crawl away and lick my wounds. Later that night, back in the quiet solitude of my dorm room, the real work begins. They see me as the struggling student, the easy target. They forgot or never bothered to learn about my other life. The one spent hunched over lines of code since I was 12. The digital world where I actually felt powerful. Julian, in his quest for Maya's approval, had often bragged about his impenetrable system security, his customized gaming rig. In Cycle 2, during my ill-fated attempt at direct confrontation, I'd managed to get fleeting access to his campus network credentials during a heated argument. This time, I'd been more careful, planting a subtle keylogger weeks ago when helping him fix a supposed printer issue. The keys fly under my fingers. Accessing his university account is child's play, navigating the directory structure. There it is. A folder carelessly labeled Drafts. Inside, not just essays, but financial aid applications. And nestled within those, evidence I hadn't found before, doctored income statements, falsified dependency claims. He hadn't just lied on his essays like Maya suspected. He'd committed outright fraud to secure the very scholarship funding he now seemed to take for granted. The same funding he watched Maya try to strip from me. He wasn't just a social climber. He was a cheat. The next morning, an anonymous email routed through multiple encrypted servers lands in the inbox of the head of the university's Financial Aid Oversight Committee. The subject line is simple. Potential scholarship discrepancies, Julian Vance. The email contains no accusations, just polite questions, pointing towards specific inconsistencies in Julian's submitted documents compared to publicly available records, attached as innocuous-looking PDFs. It suggests a routine review might be prudent. The fallout isn't immediate, but the ripples spread quickly. Within days, whispers turn from my supposed cheating to Julian's potential investigation. Maya's group is confused, then concerned. Their initial smugness evaporates, replaced by nervous glances. They don't understand how the spotlight shifted. They look at me, searching for signs of triumph, but find only the same quiet, almost withdrawn demeanor I'd shown at the gala. Then Julian corners me outside the library, his face pale, sweat beading on his forehead. "Alex, man, you hear about this? This investigation thing? It's crazy, right? Some kind of mistake." His voice is tight with panic. "They're questioning my scholarship, my entire funding." I look at him, letting empathy flood my expression. "Julian, that sounds awful. Seriously? Are you okay?" "No, I'm not okay," he hisses, grabbing my arm. "This could ruin me, my parents. They can't afford this place without that aid. You gotta help me, Alex. You know people, right? Maybe talk to someone, tell them it's bullshit." He's searching my face desperately, looking for the loyal friend he discarded. I don't know what I could do, Julian," I say softly, shaking my head. "But that sounds really tough. Let me know if there's anything, moral support-wise." I offer a comforting pat on his shoulder, the picture of concerned helplessness. He looks utterly defeated. "Yeah, right, moral support." He walks away, shoulders slumped. That evening, I compile the most damning pieces of evidence: the clearly altered bank statement PDFs, the contradictory application answers, into a second anonymous email. This one goes directly to the specific investigator assigned to Julian's case, CCing the Dean of Students. Subject: further documentation regarding Vance review. The next day, Julian Vance is suspended pending a full hearing. His access to campus facilities is revoked. Maya and her circle are reeling, scrambling to distance themselves, suddenly wary of the boy they thought they'd broken. They still don't suspect me. How could they? I was just the quiet victim, offering comforting words while the axe fell. The dust from Julian's suspension hasn't even settled when the next betrayal unfolds. Predictable as sunrise. Eliza, ever the opportunist, sees Julian's fall not as a warning, but as a chance to further solidify her standing with Maya. She needs to demonstrate her unwavering loyalty, prove she's nothing like the disgraced Julian, or her precarious position in Maya's orbit might vanish. It happens during one of our rare, strained conversations. I'd mentioned, cautiously, some concerns about our parents' finances back home. Nothing specific, just the usual anxieties amplified by my own scholarship pressures. It was a test, baited carefully, learned from the painful lessons of Cycle 2, where my genuine vulnerability was weaponized. Days later, I overhear Maya talking with Eliza near the law library. "So his family's actually broke?" Maya asks, a predatory gleam in her eyes. "Basically," Eliza confirms, her voice smooth and confidential. "He's terrified of losing that scholarship, always whining about it. It's why he gets so defensive, Deep down, he knows he doesn't really belong here." She's twisting my anxieties into proof of my inherent inferiority, serving it up to Maya on a silver platter. It's her membership fee, paid with family secrets. When Eliza seeks me out later, feigning concern, I play my part. "Maya mentioned something about you being worried about home?" she asks, her brow furrowed in mock sympathy. "You know you can talk to me, Alex." I meet her gaze, letting a weary resignation settle over my features. "It's fine, Eliza. Thanks for looking out for yourself." The words hang there, ambiguous enough for her to interpret as she wishes, likely as defeated acceptance. She seems relieved, convinced I'm too preoccupied or too broken to challenge her. Perfect. While Eliza is busy shoring up her social standing, I execute the next phase of my plan. Remember Professor Harmon? The one who stole my research project on the novel algorithm? Back in Cycle 1 and 2, I'd let that theft destroy my academic drive or fuel useless confrontations. This time I'd meticulously documented everything. Dated drafts of my code, Email exchanges where I explained the core concepts to Harmon before he claimed them, even time-stamped metadata from my original research files. Harmon, emboldened by my previous passivity, in his perception, had been preparing to present my algorithm at a major tech conference, hoping to attract industry partnerships. But I knew, from monitoring dark web forums in previous cycles, a desperate attempt to find leverage back then, about a prestigious, highly competitive internship program offered by a cutting-edge tech firm, Syntech Dynamics. They scouted talent aggressively, often bypassing traditional academic channels. Their application process was notoriously rigorous, focused purely on technical merit and innovation. Using a secure connection and an anonymized profile that hinted at an independent researcher, I submit my original algorithm project, complete with full documentation and theoretical proofs Harmon hadn't even fully grasped, directly to Syntech's Advanced Projects Division. I don't mention Harmon or Crestwood University. I let the work speak for itself. Weeks pass. Eliza continues her social maneuvering, oblivious. Harmon basks in the departmental glow, anticipating his conference presentation. Then, things start to move. Syntech, intrigued by the algorithm's potential, conducts its own deep dive. Their internal experts, unbound by university politics or donor loyalties, quickly recognize the sophistication of the work and, through cross-referencing publicly available preprints and Harmon's preliminary, and somewhat clumsy mentions of the project, spot the discrepancies. They see the fingerprints of genuine innovation on my submission and the awkward retrofitting in Harmon's claims. The confrontation isn't public, not initially. Two senior executives from Syntech arrange a meeting with Professor Harmon and the dean. Ostensibly, it's to discuss potential university collaboration. In reality, it's an ambush. They politely, surgically, dismantle Harmon's claims of authorship, presenting evidence derived from my submission, time-stamped code modules, detailed architectural diagrams he couldn't adequately explain. Word leaks out slowly, then all at once. Harmon is suddenly on leave pending an internal review. His conference presentation is canceled. The Sterling family, catching wind of potential academic fraud linked to their donations, makes discreet inquiries, their tone reportedly icy. Maya and Eliza are blindsided. Their connection to Harmon, once a source of academic prestige, now looks like a liability. They scramble to create distance. I barely knew his research, Maya claims to anyone who will listen. Eliza insists Harmon only provided general career advice. I encounter Eliza near the student center. She looks pale and stressed. "Alex, this Harmon thing is just awful, isn't it?" she says, attempting a shaky solidarity. "It makes the whole department look bad." "It's definitely causing a stir," I reply calmly, meeting her gaze. Inside, I'm cataloging every flicker of panic in her IORs, every nervous gesture. I offer a non-committal nod. "Hope it doesn't affect your recommendation letters." Her eyes widen almost imperceptibly. She forces a tight smile. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. But we both know it might not be. The foundation is crumbling faster now. Harmon's potential downfall threatens the ecosystem that supported Maya's clique. And all I had to do was claim what was rightfully mine, letting their own compromised system expose itself. While they were busy with social games and petty betrayals, I was playing a longer, quieter game, leveraging the very work they tried to bury. And I made sure to digitally document their panicked attempts to distance themselves, screenshots of deleted social media posts praising Harmon, whispered hallway conversations subtly recorded via my phone. More pieces for the final act, graduation week. The culmination of 4 years of struggle, ambition, and, for me, carefully orchestrated patience. The air buzzes with relief and anticipation. Families fill the campus, Cameras flashing, smiles wide. It should be a moment of triumph. For Maya, it's the last chance to land a decisive blow, to reassert her dominance before we all scatter into the real world. The pre-graduation departmental awards ceremony. Less formal than the main event, but still prestigious, attended by faculty, key donors, including Maya's parents, and graduating seniors. I'm slated to receive a departmental citation for academic excellence, ironically, based partly on coursework derived from the very research Harmon tried to steal before the Syntech debacle forced the department to quietly acknowledge my contribution to avoid further scandal. As my name is called, Maya steps forward, requesting permission to say a few words in celebration. The supervising professor, unaware, nods indulgently. Maya takes the small podium, her smile radiant but sharp-edged. "Alex Chen," she begins, her voice carrying through the hushed room. "We've all seen his dedication." A pause. "But I think it's important to acknowledge the full picture, the incredible pressures he overcame." She then proceeds, under the guise of admiration, to reveal the very family financial struggles Eliza had confided in her about, embellished, naturally painting a picture of desperate poverty, hinting that my entire university career was one precarious step away from disaster. She implies my ambition wasn't drive, but a grasping neediness. She finishes with, "It just shows what someone can do when they have nothing to lose." It's a masterclass in malicious framing, public humiliation wrapped in faux praise. She wants to taint my achievement, reduce me to my circumstances, reinforce the old narrative. I don't belong. In Cycle 1, this would have been devastating. In Cycle 2, I might have argued, making a scene. This time I stand there, letting the murmurs wash over me. I see the pitying glances, the uncomfortable shifting of Harmon's remaining allies, the smug satisfaction on Maya's face, the conflicted shame warring with relief on Eliza's. I let a mask of quiet devastation settle over my features. When the awkward applause dies down, I walk to the podium, accept the citation plaque with trembling hands, a deliberate touch, and murmur a choked, "Thank you, excuse me." I then turn and walk out of the ceremony, not fleeing, but appearing overcome. Let them think they've won. Let them savor their final victory. Outside, away from prying eyes, the composure returns instantly. I pull out a burner phone, purchased months ago, untraceable. On it is a single app, custom-coded, linked to a distributed network of cloud servers where I've stored my arsenal. For the past year, ever since realizing the depth of their collusion in Cycle 2's disastrous ending, I'd been meticulous. Using sophisticated listening devices, planted during study sessions, borrowed equipment returns, even exploiting known Wi-Fi vulnerabilities in their dorms, and social engineering, I had gathered evidence. Hours of recordings, Maya boasting to Julian about manipulating Professor Harmon, Julian detailing how he fed Maya information about me, Eliza complaining about my drain on the family while strategizing with Maya on how to leverage connections, Harmon discussing the necessity of sidelining my research to appease the Sterlings, all of it carefully curated, edited down to the most damning exchanges, scrubbed of my own voice where possible, time-stamped and cross-referenced. I tap the icon. A simple prompt. Execute final dissemination protocol. I press confirm. Within minutes, targeted emails containing links to encrypted audio files and transcripts land in the inboxes of the Dean of Students, the university president, the head of the ethics committee, key faculty members, the student newspaper editors, and even select influential alumni whose support Maya's family relied upon. Simultaneously, anonymous posts appear on campus forums and social media leak sites, pointing to the data cache. The effect is instantaneous and catastrophic, an implosion. Julian, already suspended, is now facing expulsion hearings based on new evidence of conspiracy and malicious intent alongside his academic fraud. Eliza's carefully cultivated image shatters. The prestigious law firm that had extended her a conditional offer upon graduation receives an anonymous tip linking to the recordings of her betraying family confidences and participating in the smear campaign. Her offer is quietly withdrawn. Her requests for faculty recommendation letters go unanswered. Professor Harmon, already on leave, finds his tenure review abruptly scheduled, with the recordings forming the centerpiece of the case against him. His academic career is effectively over. The Sterling family, implicated through Maya's actions and Harmon's funding connection, finds themselves fielding uncomfortable questions from the university board and fellow donors. Their carefully polished reputation is tarnished overnight. My own phone starts ringing incessantly. It's Maya. I let it ring a few times, then answer, saying nothing. "Alex! Alex! What did you do?" Her voice is shrill, laced with panic and disbelief. "You need to stop this! Take it down! They're talking about expelling Julian. My father is furious. Eliza's offer is gone." The accusations tumble out, interspersed with threats. "You'll regret this. You have no idea who you're messing with." Then the inevitable shift. "Alex, please, we can fix this. Tell me what you want. Money? An apology? Anything." I listen to the whole desperate spiral. The threats turning to pleas, the arrogance dissolving into raw fear. I picture her standing there, probably pacing frantically, the carefully constructed world she ruled crumbling around her. The girl who declared me not worth fighting for is now fighting desperately for scraps, begging the person she dismissed. When she finally pauses, breathless, waiting for my response, I simply press the end call button. Silence. The quietest, most definitive victory of all. I didn't need to shout or argue. I just let their own words, their own actions, orchestrated and revealed at the right moment, do the work for me. 5 years later. The Crestwood campus looks simultaneously the same and entirely different. Ivy still clings to the old stone buildings, students still sprawl on the main quad, but the faces are new, the energy subtly shifted. I'm back, not as a ghost haunting the edges, but as the keynote speaker for the annual Technology and Innovation Summit. Alex Chen, founder and CEO of Nexus Innovations, the company born from that stolen algorithm, now a multi-million-dollar player in the AI development space. My presence causes a stir. People who ignored me or actively participated in my social exile now approach with wide smiles and outstretched hands, murmuring congratulations, pretending we were always friends. It's amusing in a detached sort of way. I'm polite, professional, shaking hands, accepting accolades, but my focus is elsewhere. I'm waiting. And then I see her. Maya Sterling. She looks older. Still impeccably dressed, but the effortless confidence has been replaced by something harder, more brittle. She's lingering near the edge of the reception hall, watching me, clearly working up the courage to approach. The years haven't been kind to the Sterling reputation after the graduation scandal, or to her personal prospects, I'd heard. No prestigious job, a series of failed ventures trading on a name that now carried baggage. She finally makes her move, intercepting me as I step away from a conversation with a current professor. "Alex," she says, her voice carefully modulated, attempting warmth. "It's amazing to see you. Truly." "Maya." I nod coolly. "I always knew you had it in you," she rushes on, ignoring my reserve. "That drive, that brilliance. Even back then I saw your potential. I was just young and foolish, caught up in things." She tries a self-deprecating smile. It doesn't reach her eyes. Nexus Innovations, it's incredible work. We should talk, reconnect. Maybe there are synergies. My family still has connections, you know? It's almost pathetic. The same transactional approach, just repackaged. She thinks my success is something she can now attach herself to, reclaim some lost status. She has no idea. Potential, I repeat softly, holding her gaze. Is that what you saw when you told me I wasn't worth fighting for in the cafeteria? She flinches, color rising in her cheeks. Alex, I know I said things. Did things. I regret. Deeply. Can't we move past that? People change. Oh, I know people change, I say, stepping closer, lowering my voice so only she can hear. Or rather, circumstances force them to adapt. But the core, that often stays the same. Tell me, Maya, does the scent of jasmine still trigger uncomfortable memories for you? Her eyes widen slightly. Confusion wars with dawning unease. What are you talking about? The gala, I clarify. The one where you were desperately trying to get my attention just a few hours ago. In my perception, at least. Hours ago? Alex, that was 5 years ago. She starts, then stops, staring at me. What do you mean, in your perception? This is it. The reveal I've held on to, the final piece she could never comprehend. Because, Maya, I say, my voice calm, almost conversational. This isn't the first time we've lived these years. For me, it's the third. Cycle 3, to be precise. She looks utterly bewildered. Then a flicker of fear enters her eyes. You're crazy. Time loop? What is this, a movie? Is it crazier than orchestrating humiliations? Stealing research? Betraying family for social gain? I lean in fractionally. Cycle 1. You broke me easily. I dropped out. Cycle 2, I fought back loud and messy, and you crushed me again, using the system against me. Each time I learned. I learned who Julian really was. I learned Eliza's price. I learned Harmon's weakness. And I learned exactly how you operate, Maya. Every manipulation, every pressure point. The color drains from her face. She's struggling to process it, searching my eyes for a sign that I'm joking, lying. She finds none. But how? She whispers. The company, Nexus. Ah, yes, I smile faintly. The part none of you ever bothered to dig into. My wrong side of the track's background wasn't entirely accurate. My mother's side of the family, they're not Sterlings, but they have their own quiet influence. Venture capital, tech investments. They believed in letting me find my own way, build character without a safety net. But they set up a trust, contingent on my graduating with honors and demonstrating, let's call it resilience. It unlocked the seed capital I needed right after graduation. Right after I proved I could handle people like you. I pause. Funny thing is, in the first 2 cycles, I never met the conditions. Your little circle made sure of that. This time, your actions inadvertently ensured my success. The revelation hangs heavy in the air between us. Her mind is racing, replaying events, trying to fit this impossible truth into her reality. The power dynamic hasn't just shifted, it's inverted on a cosmic scale she can barely grasp. So, all of it, she breathes horrified. Julian, Eliza, Harmon, you knew it would happen? You planned it? I planned to survive, I correct her gently. I planned to reclaim what was mine. Their choices were their own, Maya. Consistent across every timeline, you included. I just learned how to navigate the storm you all created. Each loop taught me who was genuinely worth fighting for, and who wasn't. She stares at me, desperation replacing disbelief. Alex, if this is true, then give me another chance. Now. Knowing this, I can be different. We can be different. I can help you. My connections, my name still means something. She reaches out, her hand trembling slightly. I'll do anything. Anything you want. It's the ultimate transactional plea, offering herself, her influence, everything she has left, just to be on the winning side, to rewrite her own dismal ending. I look at her hand, then back into her eyes. There's no anger left in me, just a profound sense of closure. That's the point, Maya, I say calmly, stepping back, letting her hand fall into the empty space between us. Even now, faced with this, your immediate reaction is to bargain, to offer yourself as an asset. You haven't understood a thing. It was never about the money, or the status, or even the revenge, not really. It was about character. And yours, Maya, is fundamentally unchanged. That's why another chance is impossible. You still think everything and everyone has a price. I turn and walk away, leaving her standing alone in the middle of the reception, grappling with a truth far stranger and more devastating than any social scandal. The loop is broken. Not just because I won, but because I finally understand the game wasn't worth playing by her rules at all. The Pacific stretches out before me, an endless expanse of shimmering blue merging with the hazy horizon. The house sits perched on the cliffside, all glass and clean lines, a quiet testament to late nights, calculated risks, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of cosmic course correction. The air smells of salt and coastal sage. Inside, on my minimalist desk, the latest Nexus quarterly reports glow on a sleek monitor. Metrics exceeding projections, positive press, a new patent approved. Success feels calm. Quieter than I imagined back when fury was my primary fuel. It's not a solitary success, though. That was the biggest lesson from the cycles, the one that truly broke the pattern. Revenge felt necessary, unavoidable even, to clear the path. But peace? That came later, built on different foundations. Sarah, my head of R&D, who challenges my ideas with brutal honesty and celebrates wins with genuine enthusiasm, we met at a tech incubator 2 years ago. David, my college roommate from Cycle 3, the quiet history major who lent me books and never asked for anything back, is now head of my non-profit foundation. Genuine connections, forged not through proximity or convenience, but through mutual respect and shared values. They know my official history, the sanitized version. They don't need to know about the loops. They value the person I became after them. The mail sits unopened, except for one letter. Thick cream envelope, elegant handwriting, instantly recognizable. It's from Maya. It found its way here through circuitous channels, forwarded by alumni relations, I suppose. Curiosity, a final lingering echo of the past, makes me open it. It's rambling, disjointed, filled with justifications, not apologies. She talks about how unfair her life has been since graduation, how people misunderstood her intentions, how the scandal cost her opportunities she deserved. She mentioned seeing news about Nexus, a hint of possessiveness in her tone, as if my success is somehow related to her, a story she's still trying to be a part of. There's no self-reflection, no acknowledgement of her own cruelty or manipulations. It's all about what she lost, the status she feels entitled to, the life she thinks was stolen from her. Nothing about how she treated people, how she failed herself. Some loops, it seems, are internal. Some people never learn. I read it through once, then walk out onto the deck overlooking the ocean. The sun is beginning to dip lower, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and purple. I hold the letter for a moment, feeling the weight of those years, the betrayals, the anger, the calculated coldness I had to embrace to survive. It all feels distant now, like a story about someone else. Striking a match, I hold the flame to the corner of the envelope. It catches quickly, curling, turning black. I watch the paper burn, the elegant script turning to ash, carried away by the gentle sea breeze. It's not an act of anger, but release. A final severing of the toxic ties that bound me to that past, to those people. The last embers drift away towards the setting sun. I take a deep breath, the salt air filling my lungs. No more loops, no more looking back. The revenge was a means to an end, a clearing of the debris. But this quiet moment, this sense of peace earned not through crushing enemies, but through building something worthwhile, connecting with people who see me for who I am now. This is the true victory. The fight was never really about them. It was about becoming someone I could live with, someone who didn't need their validation or fear their judgment, someone free. And as the first stars begin to prick the twilight sky, I realize, finally, I am.